What, Sheldon? You didn't think I was coming?
No, I was talking to Michael. He
Oh.
was sideways. His
We
picture
got
was
we
sideways.
got all sorts of other stuff going on. I had to film the Ford Drive the Lane. We had to film the TV show. We had to do the pregame radio. We got all sorts of other stuff going on.
Don't tell him we do it early.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, we ready to go? I was getting ready for Mizzou. They played tremendously last night. Big win at Florida. Presents some problems with just how big and physical that they are. That'll be a challenge for us. Tillman inside will be a huge challenge for us. Rebounding the ball is going to be a big issue. They're shooting the ball a lot better. Smith's obviously a great. Well, they've got a few Smiths, but 13 Smith is a great shooter. 12, 13's Mark Smith. 12's Drew Smith. He leads the league in steals. They have Tillman back there. And so it'll be a big challenge. Penson's playing really, really well for them at point. And I'm just really worried about their physicality, their ability to bludgeon us down low, draw fouls, and their ability to really whip us at the free throw line. So we need to get the game going, get the pace going. Hopefully we can stay out of situations where they're just leaning on us in the half court.
Well, they were playing really, really well early in the season. I think they got up to 12th. What's happened lately? What have teams been doing to them? I know you talked last night about how they like to play slow. So.
I don't necessarily play slow. They're playing faster. I mean, they're playing a little bit faster than they have played tempo-wise. They get out in transition. They force you to take a lot of tough twos, which we take a lot of tough twos naturally. We don't need a lot of forcing to do that sometimes. So we've got to really be careful there because they're great at converting those, putting those, taking your rough offense. It's really a result of how good they are defensively and turning those into points. And so we can't give them anything. We can't give them anything easy. Based, from our offense because they don't need a lot of help. They're scoring it a lot better. They're playing inside out. You got some wiggle off the ball screens now. They're able to play off the ball screens a lot better. They just got a good veteran team that's really, really well coached. Coach Martin's as good a coach as there is in our league, and they take on his personality. They're tough. They're determined, and they fight and scrap and claw every possession.
And also, you have a chance to get the number 3 seed. You're in the position with a win to get the number 3 seed. I guess it doesn't matter if you get 3 or 4. You might have to play Alabama or Arkansas, does it? I mean, but it is good to get the 3 seed, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we need to win. We need another quad 1 win. We need to try to improve our SEC tournament standing, improve our standing for the NCAA tournament. All that stuff's important.
So it's good to win. All right, check. Kent, thanks for the email on the scenario. I appreciate that gesture. Will, you talked about the physicality of Missouri. Is that, and it made me think immediately of Days. Is it not uncommon to have a compass guy or a barometer guy like that where, how he goes, your team so goes? Because it really seems like once he kind of gets in foul trouble, your team deteriorates around him, but without him, for sure.
I mean, most teams have somebody like that. I would say ours is maybe a little bit more on an extreme than other teams where, maybe you have a chance to survive it. And we do. I mean, we've still been in some of these games where he hasn't played well. We just haven't been able to close him out. But no, I mean, he's a huge part of what we do. Just a lot of times teams have a guy who maybe he's one of the guys we've got that really affects the game on both ends. Just with our offensive spacing, but he also brings, he helps us with our defensive rebounding tremendously. And when he's in foul trouble or when he's not out there, our physicality, our defensive rebounding, he's the one guy we got, that really dives on the floor, makes some hustle plays, goes after loose balls. All that stuff doesn't, just isn't as front of mind with some, with some guys. So it really. He really adds a lot to our team on both ends when he's out there and playing hard.
Will. Is there an update on Sharif? I mean, do you guys expect to maybe have him back by
No.
the SEC tournament or anything? No.
No, I don't expect to have him back. He probably won't be back all year. He's working hard, but he won't be back all year, if I were guessing.
Anything else?
Do you look at the scenarios about the SEC tournament? You know, if you win, have you even looked at it for fun? Or?
I mean, I know if we win, we're the 3. If we lose, I guess we could still be the 3 if Florida, I think, lost at Tennessee. I think it's, I mean, Kent briefly told me last night after the radio show what the scenarios were when we got done with when Missouri beat Florida. But, I mean, it doesn't, I mean, I'd like to, I mean, you always obviously want to finish as high as you can, so coming in third is important. It's more about momentum and matchups. If you could tell me who the 5 and 6 seeds would be, I'd tell you who I'd rather play. Well, I wouldn't tell you who I'd rather play, but I'd know who I'd rather play. How about that? That'd be a better way to put it. You know, it all just, you know, we could get the 3 seed and the team I wouldn't want to play could get the 6 seed. And so then, you know, so we could get the 4 seed and feel bad about losing to Missouri, but know that the 5 seeds may be a little bit better matchup for us than the 6 seed would be. So in tournament play, it's really about the matchups, and the first game's always the most difficult one. You know, it's the most difficult one to win. You got to win that first game. You got to put everything you got into winning that first game.
Our matchups, you know, it's interesting because you talk about the matchups and some of them are just bad, and they are really bad when they're bad for you. Is that not maybe just other coaches haven't been?
You saying we don't want to play? You say we don't want to play Georgia again?
Yeah, I was thinking of another team in red, but yeah, Georgia works too. But is that? I mean, you just maybe more honest about that and the reality of, hey, look, you know, we just can't sometimes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's what it is. I mean, just call it like I see it. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly. I mean, there's some teams now on the flip side that, I mean, you can go back through some records and look. I mean, we're a terrible matchup for some teams too. Where we, you know, I think that's what I was really referring to with Glenn. I mean, you can look at some teams and just know, hey, we got a good shot in this one. And so, yeah, it's just the way it works. A lot of it's matchups, and you try to, you know, it's not like if we see a bad matchup, we're just going to go, oh my gosh, we're just going to pack our bags and go home. But I mean, there's a lot more difficulty and a lot more things to work around when you have that bad matchup. And there's 2 or 3 things that really bother us that, quite frankly, we have a very difficult time stopping, even if we game plan for it and work on it, and et cetera, et cetera. And there's 3 teams in the league that can really do that, and we would certainly prefer to avoid those teams in the league tournament, and we prefer to avoid teams that are like that in the NCAA tournament.
And you mentioned this earlier about Javonte, just kind of finding his role and fitting into it.
Yep.
You know, is that really comforting to see a guy here who's, you know, maybe came back this year and he's now had success again?
No, it's exciting. I mean, he's had his best year. You know, hopefully he's going to get everything he wants out of this year when it's over. But he's had his best season. That's what you want. You want somebody to come to your program, grow, get better, and he's done that. And he's done that every year. I think he's the best point guard in the league. But he's certainly one of them, if not the best. I know I'm a little bit biased, but he's grown, he's gotten better, and he's playing his best basketball. And you know, we're certainly going to need him to play well for us here down the stretch.
Well, what does it take to be a better road team, do you think?
Well, you've got to be able to. You know, one of our biggest issues this year on the road is we've just given up. We've given up too many runs. You know, we haven't been able to get out of our own way a little bit on the road. We press, and I don't want to use the word panic, but we don't play with the poise that we need to on the road. When the other team makes a run, you got to come down and have a good possession, have a long possession, move the ball side to side, give the defense a chance to screw up. And we don't necessarily do that a whole lot, and we don't do that when we need to. when the other team's on a run. And so, winning on the road's difficult, especially in league. I think you guys have heard me say this, but there's nothing more difficult than winning a league road game. That's the hardest games on your schedule. The 9, in our case, the 9 SEC league road games, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Those are very, very difficult games, and you've really, really got to be on point. You've really, really got to be detailed, and you've got to be able to execute for 40 full minutes, which we haven't done this year. And that's going to be a big challenge for us on Saturday at Mizzou.